Hello there, I'm Begalius, and it's that time. It's the end of the year. The end of the year? More like end of the beer. Am I right? And is there a worse time than that, huh? I guess every time. Isn't every time really the worst time? Wow, what a start. We've been all over the place today. We've been to all kinds of coordinates in my brain. But yes, it's the end of the year. I want to do that video that I do. I sort of contemplated not doing the end of the year video this year, just because of how shit it's been. But no, I'm here and I'm going to do it. And I want to talk about it because you have to take the good with the bad. And this was bad. I would say that, yeah, ultimately 2025 was the worst year of my life. By quite a way, quite a measure, not an easy one, and we're going to talk about it. But I want to say, by nature of that, that this is not my normal end of the year wrap up. If you've seen one of these before for whatever reason, not that anyone repeat views on my channel, but if you have, then this is going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot more somber. Because it has been a tremendously difficult year. I usually just talk about like the highs and lows, what's happened, what's been going on. It usually goes with me, with the world, and with gaming, and then I cap it off with the channel. But this year it's just been, it's been a mess, an absolute mess. I think signposted, obviously I think this is the first time I've actually said it on the channel, but towards the beginning of the year, the biggest signpost and the biggest thing that impacted the year was the separation that I had from my daughter's mum, which was difficult in many ways. I think it was handled by both of us very poorly, although I'm not sure she'd agree, but it was handled very poorly by the both of us, and it started off fairly amicably and okay, and then got a little bit worse, and then just spiraled into complete chaos, and it's a complete mess. And I think it's still there, honestly, as much as I'm trying to sort of make everything amicable again. It doesn't feel as though that's happening. It is in a complete mess, and has led to some of the darkest and worst periods of my entire life. I've learned a lot about myself. I've had a lot of issues this year. I've been threatened. I've had a lot of the tumultuous moments within the dynamic. A lot of things haven't worked. I've been learning a lot about myself, and not in a good way. A lot of the things that I've learned about myself are things that I sort of wish I hadn't learned about myself. And the reason for that, and I know that it sounds a lot more exciting, the bad things that have happened during the separation, but I can't elaborate on those things for obvious reasons. But yeah, I've been through some very difficult times where I haven't felt safe in my own home. I've been having to look over my shoulder. A guy looked at me in Costa for too long while I was with my daughter, and that raised some alarm bells, which is just a ridiculous state to be in, and I can now pinpoint the worst moment of my entire life as well, which is just tremendous. But in terms of the, let's get to the things that I usually cover on this channel, which is like, navigating things emotionally and sort of internally. One of the issues with the separation was that there was, in my opinion, or honestly, almost objectively, no one was really at fault. There wasn't like one big thing that caused a separation. As far as I know, neither of us cheated. There was no sort of abuse emotionally or physically. No real major issues. Like, I didn't have debt collectors coming over. I don't smoke, or gambling issues or anything like that. So on my end, no issues at all. And actually that becomes a bit of a problem, because when there is an issue and there is something to like focus and focus in on and pinpoint on, when you're being retrospective and you're looking things over, you have that thing to say, well, this is what I did wrong. However, in my case, as I didn't do any of that stuff wrong, you think of it like a chain, right? Like a relationship is like a chain, and there's all these different aspects, and however long you've been with someone and however much you've been through with that person, that chain grows longer and more varied. And when one or a few pieces of that chain snap, then obviously the whole chain breaks, and that's enough to make the relationship cave in. However, when you haven't done any like major thing that would make the chain snap, you have like all of these blank points, all of these like empty areas, and because it's a chain and you have to create those links, your mind just like wants to fill in those blanks and wants to know, no, what happened, what was the thing that broke the chain. And when that thing is something you don't know, you're not aware of, because it's not something you've been told, and not something that matches up with the sort of cognizant background that you're around, things that would break a relationship. When that thing isn't there, you just fill in the blanks. You invent reasons, you create reasons, and of course they are internalized. It's an introspective experience, and you internalize all of that, and you say, I did this wrong, I did that wrong, it was my fault because of this, it was my fault because of that. And going through that experience, which I'm still to an extent going through, despite the fact that I have found someone else, and I am happy with that person, there are still parts of my brain that transfer that over to this relationship. What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? And how can I prevent this from happening again? And I don't know, so I still fill in those blanks. But for the first few months, it is crippling. I mean, I went to some tremendously dark places. I became addicted to alcohol again. I wasn't sleeping properly. I had such a lack of sleep that I was getting sleep paralysis again. I was alone in the home, and I had this sleep paralysis episode where I thought there was someone in the bed with me, which traumatized me for a little bit, and I couldn't sleep in my own bed just because I wasn't sleeping properly. It's been a complete mess because I wasn't able to focus in on what that problem was or what those problems were. If there were multiple issues, I'm a very calm, placid person, so it couldn't be that. But it became tremendously difficult and led to a lot of issues, which of course is why I haven't really been posting much this year other than the shorts. And of course, I think that's about as far as I want to get with that. It has led to other offshooting issues, which I don't really want to get into on this channel. But I think I've got it as deep and dark as I would have to. But if you're going through this, then do know that these are the experiences that I've had. But unfortunately, I don't have the answer for you because I'm still experiencing it. In terms of the world around us, I guess the world said, hey, checkmate, Big Alias, because we want to be on this ride with you too. And it has been, what a fucking mess of a year. What a diabolical, terrible year. And the craziest thing about this year is that we still, as a public, feel unsatisfied wholly, which is ridiculous because one side is being completely, entirely catered to right now. There is... Obviously, unfortunately, the world is divided into two types of people. You have people who are very conservative and people who are very progressive. And clearly, the thing is, people by nature of what I'm talking about right now, people are going to disagree with this, but the conservative side has been tremendously catered to this year in a huge way. You can't say anything progressive anymore. If one person who isn't white is involved in any crime whatsoever, people riot in the streets. You've had the roundabout paintings, which is just... please put your teeth back in and go collect your payments and just fuck off. Just go away. Leading to some genuinely hilarious posts, very funny posts where people are saying stuff like, if this immigrant problem doesn't stop, I'm going to move to Dubai. Hello. Stuff like that. It has got ridiculous, and it has been a very good filtration system for the people who are very unintelligent. They're sort of showing themselves up a lot at the moment. But yeah, it has led to a lot of it's just been civil unrest, complete mess. And of course, across the pond, all of this is filtering down from the worst president that the United States has ever had. Objectively speaking, I mean, inflation is in an awful state. Those tariffs have, as we all predicted, not panned out to make you any money whatsoever. If anything, it's doing the opposite. Your manufacturing has not increased. It hasn't improved. Your overall sort of global national profit is not up. Spending is not up. Your price of it, well, I've already said inflation is still through the roof. People are completely unsatisfied. There's a lot of violent crime happening. Gun crime is still at an all-time high and only increasing. ETC, it's a complete shambles over there, and there are still people who are supporting this. And on top of all of this, the guy running your country is facing paedophile claims. He's very clear cut, to be honest with you. He's not fighting them very well. It's kind of very clear that he's got his back against the corner. I don't want to say anything objectively, but it clearly looks like, yeah, he could very well go down for being a paedophile. He's the president of the United States. This is where we're at. I mean, I think, say no more. This is the current situation of things. I remember back in 2018, I talked about how, Trump had just gone in, and I said, look, right now, we're not dealing with those issues, but, the chickens are going to come home to roost. Unfortunately, Biden got in after that, but now we're seeing those chickens come home to roost in an awful way. Censorship is at an all-time high. He's currently suing the BBC for daring saying anything against him, as he's done with many entities. NPR was sued for saying something against him. All of these entities are being sued through the roof by this guy who has the courts at his fingertips and is using that to defend himself and to make more money for himself, and it's absolutely gross. So yeah, not looking good in terms of society. I've even got into the numerous wars that seem to only be getting worse. World War III is just seconds away, it feels, to the point where my country is actually now beginning to talk about forced military, I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, you basically get called in and it's like a legal requirement. Fuck that. Absolutely fuck that. I'm not dying for this god-awful mud rock that I live on. But yeah, anyway, so gaming, not looking great this year. I can't think of any major standouts. I really don't know what to say about gaming. It's just like AI is taking over now. Black Ops 7 is one of the worst Call of Duties ever made. AI is taking over. The use of AI. AI is bad. People are losing their jobs. Thousands of layoffs because, again, the president supports AI use. It's just a shambles. It's another shambles. The only good thing has been this channel. And I know I haven't been uploading these long-form videos, but I've had, in terms of viewership, the strongest year I've ever had on this channel, which is, and by quite a way actually. I think the previous strongest year I'd had was either 2013 or last year. Last year I did 60,000 views. This year, 126,000 views at the time of recording. And of course, yeah, I know they all came from the shorts, but that's fine. And the shorts are easy to make, and I have a lot of fun making them. So this channel actually feels very alive and energetic at the moment, and I'm really happy about that. So that's something going into 2026. Something. I think 2023 I did 24,000 views. So over 100,000 more views this year than 2023, so that is spectacular. That really is great, and I want to go into 2026. I feel like I want to do more of these long form videos again while I'm doing the shorts, but we'll see how that goes. Every time I promise that never happens, but I have been keeping very up to date with the shorts, and clearly it's paying off. I said in one of the videos the fact that my face has been seen over 100,000 times this year is just crazy to me, but it's true, it has, and that's amazing, and thank you to everyone who's watched those. So going into 2026, I don't think things could get any worse, but there's always space. There's always a way for things to get worse, and so I guess in 2026 we'll see. Hopefully I come back with a commentary this time next year talking about how things were a little bit better, things leveled off a little bit, but I'm not sure I can see it. Honestly, the trajectory, the path that we're heading on is a very negative one, and it doesn't look to be getting any better. I hate to say it. I'm sorry to pour ice water on people, but that's it. That was my 2025, and 2026 not looking amazing, but I'll see everyone later.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles.